Lady Mayoress, ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me at the back? Yeah. Unlucky. It's a real privilege to be with you tonight. When Ernie phoned me today at 11 o'clock and asked me to stand in for Johnny Morris, I said, absolutely no problem for you, Ernie. Anything, you know, anything at all. He said, Norman, I need a bit of detail. Give me a bit of detail, please. You've given me 5 hours to prepare. Give me a bit of detail. And he said, Norman, you will be faced tonight with a room full of 150 athletes on the razor edge of fitness. I would like you to talk about the influence biomechanics has had on the ability of the fast bowling unit at Crewe Cricket Club. Well, looking around the room at the 4 athletes I spot, it's wonderful to see Tom Crewe here, Peter Hart, and the gentleman responsible probably for me, in the end, giving up cricket, David Johnson. David, if you'd like to stand up, please, David, because it was David at... It is true, David, because Crewe Grammar School, David was a prefect with a good friend of mine, David Swallow, who couldn't be with us tonight. And the maths teacher had told me as a 14, 15-year-old lad, I wasn't big enough to play football. And I was absolutely gutted because my passions were table tennis, football and cricket. And here was this teacher telling me I wasn't good enough to get into the football team at school. So what do I do? And it was David, the 2 Davids, this man here and my friend down in South Wales, who cajoled me over a 4-week period to play this Nancy sport called hockey. Because as boys, we all thought it was a girls' game, didn't we, lads, really? They insisted and insisted, and in the end, I started to play hockey. Alongside my cricket in those days, I have very, very fond memories of Crewe Alexandra. I never played down here, I played at Earl Street. And just some memories of Earl Street. To hear the guy in the spectator stand carry a bag, really give praise to Garfield Sobers every game. Do you remember Carry a Bag?
Oh yes, Carry a Bag.
Wonderful man. To have dedicated people like Ken Platt and people like that supporting the youth development down there. They were really wonderful times. But you watch cricket today where they slide around the outfield to stop the ball going over the boundary. They couldn't have done that at Crewe Alexandra. Because on the outfield, the speedway had thrown all the cinders on. So not only would they have torn their flannels, they'd have had no skin on their feet or anything had they gone sliding to the boundary there. But is Alfie and Alfie Smart? Has he gone out already? Right. It's great, and I hope to catch up with many, many of my friends from the cricket club. But to go back to hockey, I moved over to Leeds University, and my course meant that my summers were taken up with a sandwich course. So I was at Banner Textiles in Altrincham, and then over in Germany for 6 months, then down at Stocksbridge Sports Centre in Sheffield. So unfortunately, my cricket started to suffer. But I really did enjoy the bat and ball. And it helped my hockey, the hand-eye coordination, without doubt. Hockey, I had to make a choice when I was selected for the England under-21s. And I'd been given a trial at Warwickshire. We'd gone down there for nets, and they'd wanted me to play in the second team. But here was England saying, come and play hockey internationally. So I had to make a choice, and unfortunately, with the type of lifestyle I had in the summers, hockey won that battle. I still follow cricket immensely, and throughout my career I was very lucky. I was the cricket and hockey sales manager at Dunlop Slazenger. So I had the privilege to deal with Viv Richards and Carl Hooper and Sachin Tendulkar when he was at Yorkshire, Richie Richardson, Mark Waugh, Kepler Vessels, all guys like that, real gentlemen of cricket. Alex Stewart. Always loved my cricket throughout, and still do. Still now an adopted Yorkshireman. In those days, me and Marsh used to go to Old Trafford and watch Harry Pilling and David Hughes hit Middlesex all over the ground. But hockey's taken over. hockey really took over. I went from Crewe Grammar School to St Albans for a trial as an England schoolboy trials, Crewe Grammar School. And everybody in life needs a champion, and on that day I was very, very fortunate. Not only had my school masters at school been really dedicated and pushed me, but also down there I had two guys from Caldy Grange who were really my champions. And they basically said to the selectors, who weren't going to select me, I was told 25 years later, if you can't see how this lad support people off the ball, I'm walking out of this room. That was Jeff Poole, who played for Wales, Great Britain, and was a science teacher at Caldy Grange. We all need champions at certain crucial parts of our career. The difference between success and failure is very, very slim. Very, very slim. And I got in, but I can remember to this day the Kingston Grammar School headmaster reading out those boys who'd been successful. Haberdashers asks, Kingston Grammar School, Canterbury. And then he got to my name and it really stuck with me and it still riles me. He said, Norman Hughes, Crewe Grammar School. And his tone said, do they play hockey in Crewe? And I felt, yes mate, we do play hockey in Crewe, and you'll find out that we play hockey in Crewe. That stuck with me throughout my career, and you can tell it still is deeply inside me. This headmaster of Kingston Grammar School, God bless him. Anyway, I was fortunate, I was selected for the group. Mrs. Thatcher decided, as a group of people, we couldn't go to Moscow because the Russians were in Afghanistan and we shouldn't attend. So we couldn't attend. Fortunately for me, 4 years later, the Russians decided they wouldn't go to the American party in Los Angeles. And as first reserve nation, Great Britain went. And we managed to knock over Holland and Australia there and come back with a bronze medal, which is a big surprise. But that led to 4 or 5 years of real great stuff for British hockey. The boys went on after my legs had gone. I retired in the World Cup final in '86 in London, but the boys went on and won the gold in Seoul. And it's been wonderful this summer. I don't know how many of you looked in to watch the girls' squad win the gold medal in Rio. They were absolutely... The togetherness and the teamwork that those girls displayed was absolutely phenomenal. An absolute example to anybody in industry and anybody in life that we rely on each other. We can't do it alone. We rely on our family, we rely on our neighbours. I toured all over the world. I went to Australia, I went to Pakistan, and I'll tell you one story. In 1985, when we toured Pakistan, we were playing in the Champions Trophy in the Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore. There were 65,000 people in the crowd, because Pakistan were playing after us. And we were playing New Zealand. We were in white shirts, white shorts, white socks. New Zealand were in the all black. Tossed up as captain, Santi Deo and a Japanese guy were the umpires. And then suddenly, just after tossing up, the pain arrived in the stomach. And I said to Santi Deo, I said, Santi, you're going to have to hold the match up, mate. I've got to go. I've got to go, and I've got to go now, otherwise you've got problems. AstroTurf pitch. We've got problems. He said, no problem, Norman, I'll delay. 65,000 people here. I rushed into the stand. The president of Pakistan is up above me. And I get in the corridor, and I'm confronted with a choice. Now, when you've got Delhi belly, the last thing you need is a choice, ladies and gentlemen. But I had a choice. I had a toilet on the right, which was a hole in the ground, and a sit-up and beg on the left. So I chose the sit-up and beg, and I saw on this crest, Armitage Shanks. Thank goodness for the quality of that porcelain on that day, because as soon as I sat down, the explosion was horizontal and immense. And of course then, it hadn't just gone over the toilet pot, it had also gone over parts of me. So I'm looking around, and this is where culture and different nationalities hit you, because there's no toilet paper, is there? You're in Pakistan, and there's just what's called a lota, which is a jug of water on the ground next to the toilet. So I'm splashing it all over, trying to get rid of it. Never have wristbands come in more use than on that day, ladies and gentlemen, because that's how I managed to tidy myself up and get on. We ended up beating New Zealand 3-2, and to this day I always thank Santi Day, who is now president of Spanish hockey, for delaying the game. Many experiences through my sport, but there's loads of people still to talk. Can I just thank Ernie for inviting me tonight? There's so many, it's one of those evenings, isn't it, where you look around the room and you know somebody, but you don't know the name. Lovely to see Dave's story when I walked in here. We've already exchanged some old memories. But if I haven't spotted you, I'd love to say hello before the evening's over and have a good natter with you and catch up on old times. Thanks ever so much for inviting me, and really enjoy the next 150 years.
Thank you, Ron. That was absolutely fantastic. Well done, what an experience. Norman News, everybody. Right, I think that's the best 3 guest speakers I've ever heard, I'll tell you. I thought they were fantastic, so I think we should just give them a big round of applause, please. Now, there's going to be an appeal with the Lady Mayor, Madam Mayor, sorry, don't walk out on me again, please. Madam Mayor, would you like to say a few words?
I don't know if I fancy getting up now. Do you want me to speak?
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Councillor Marilyn Houston, the Mayor of Crewe, from Crewe Town Council. I've been Mayor since May this year. It's just for a year, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm here this evening with my Mayoress, Pauline, who's supporting me. We go to so many different places, don't we, Pauline? We've been so busy, and it's been absolutely fascinating just the last few months. The number of places we've been to, and you always learn something. And I've learned so much tonight, hearing the history of your great club.